Lovelies, and welcome to this week's video. Originally, I was going to do a video on the benefits of being empaths, but last night I had, for the second night in a row, some really crazy ass dreams. And after doing some research at like 3 in the morning, I found out that this is actually a phenomenon both in psychology and in New Age, pagan, all that, and all of that with dream analysis. But the fact that it's even in psychology listed as a phenomenon for people who tend to be lucid dreamers. So I thought I would tell you like a synopsis of the dreams I've been having, and then tell you what this phenomenon is all about. The reason being is I'm sure a lot of other people who have had this light switch type like situation occur within their dreams. I already had one person, after I made a Facebook post about it, say that they had that happen with the light switch issue. There's a lot more going on in my dreams, which you can probably assume what some of it has to do with, and I already kind of have an idea about what that means, but it's the light switch thing that really gets to me. So that's really what this video is about, and I'd also like to hear what your thoughts and analyses are on what this could mean. So let's start it off. The first night, it was 2 nights in a row that I can remember clearly that this has happened. Last night and the night before. And I'm pretty sure it's happened before, but I can't really recall. So the first night was more concerned with the accident that had happened recently and not being able to get a car to start, and still having to do with this relationship situation that I'm not going to delve into, or at least a representation of that. Not necessarily that person, but it's a representation of the situation that is occurring. So all I remember from the first night was getting out of my bed and then trying to turn on the lights, not being able to turn on the lights, actually getting out of the house with my daughter, getting in the car not being able to start or go anywhere. I end up at like some underground like punk type show. The lights won't turn on there. I keep checking lights because I don't know why. I just keep checking lights. So that's all I really remember. I don't remember many details from the first night, but last night I remember everything. So it was very lucid dreaming. I was completely fully awake, like fully aware of everything that was going on. I remember talking to myself in it. It started with me being very cold in my bed, which I was in real life as well. And I wake up, I go to my bedroom light, which is right behind the willows, and I try and turn that on. It doesn't turn on, and I'm like really freaking out. And in my dream, it was like actual reality. Like I had talked to the person that I mentioned prior on the phone right before going to bed, but it was a lot more severe, and I had this feeling of everything's gonna fail, this is a waste of time, I'm stuck, I'm trapped, I'm hurt, and I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm like heartbroken and all this kind of stuff. And so I'm already panicking when I woke up, and here I'm trying to turn on the lights won't freaking turn on. So then I go into the hallway, and right below a mirror I have in the hallway, which is like a foot away when I walk out the door, that light wouldn't turn on. So then I'm like really freaking out, and I can feel like all this negative entities around me and feel like something's watching me like everywhere I go. And when I get to the living room, which the living room doesn't actually have lights, you have to like use a lamp, I kind of have to walk through, and I saw some entity sitting on my couch just watching me, while I could feel all those other negative entities around me, and all this heartbreak was still going on in my body. And I remember thinking in my head, like, I thought this was real life. I didn't even think I was sleeping. Like, I thought this was, like, legit happening. It was so, like, real and so lucid, and I wasn't fully sleep either, because I play, like, this, like, sleep meditation stuff to be able to sleep, and I could still kind of hear it. So it was really strange. So anyways, I'm in the living room area. I see this, and again, the presence of the person that is involved in my life was there. The thought of everything with the accident that's happening was there in my head. Some issues regarding Freya's sperm donor were, like, really, like, there in my head. Like, so much was in my head, and then there's all this negative stuff and this person watching me. So anyways, I get to the kitchen, and the kitchen lights won't work either. And I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry for language, you two, but seriously, I'm like, what the fuck? So I go near, like, the sink, and right where I, like, lay the dishes when I dry them, because I don't have a dishwasher, I have to, whatever, my altar candle is sitting there for some reason, which is a white candle in a little glass container that was my great-grandmother's candle holder. And it's just sitting there. And I'm like, what the hell is this doing in the kitchen? So anyways, I go into the drawer that is across from that area where I keep, like, I have like 50 boxes of matches in there for, like, rituals and spell work, whatever. And I go to grab a match, and I go and look over, and I can still see that, like, negative dark entity being sitting on the couch watching me. And again, this felt so freaking real. Like, this was past lucid. Like, this was past all the stuff that I felt before. Like, it felt extremely real. That I did not feel like this was a dream at all. The first night that I can remember some details, I could tell it was a dream, and I was, like, just trying to control it with lucid dreaming and thoughts and such, but, like, this was, like, full on, so real. So I go light the candle, and I'm looking over again at this entity, and I'm, like, freaking the fuck out. Like, all these thoughts are happening in my head. Why can't I turn on the lights? And here's this fucking entity. So I strike the match, and as I strike the match, I just throw it towards the entity, and I say, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm out. And then I go grab my daughter, and I get the hell out of my apartment. Or that's what's in my head. Grab my daughter, get the hell out of my apartment. But right after I threw the match and said, fuck this shit, I'm done, and it started to, like, fire up, I woke up. Immediately, I woke up. And I woke up in a little bit of a panic, which you can imagine could be real, especially because my meditation music was still playing, and it was exactly what I was hearing in my dream. And I got really freaked out to even, like, go and turn on my lights. First thing I do is actually call the person that has some control or power or whatever within my life and my heart right now. And they're just like, it's just a dream, it's just a neuron shooting. And I'm like, you know, I'm a master's in counseling student, so I'm thinking, no, there's got to be a little bit to this. And I'm also, you know, this holistic healer and, like, wise woman, green witch, and I'm thinking, no, there's got to be something a little more to this. So before I even go to try and turn on the lights, because I'm in fear of doing so, I start Googling and looking up stuff, and I find a bunch of, like, the pagan and new age beliefs on it. And then, thankfully, due to me being a grad student in counseling, I have access to research articles in which that's where I found the lucid dreaming phenomenon of light switch. So now I'm going to get into what I was told. Oh, by the way, I did eventually go and turn on the lights, because even in my dream I was thinking, I'm hungry, I need to go eat. And that was, like, part of the reason I woke up to go turn on the lights in the first place. So I go make myself a sandwich, but I'm like freaking out. I'm turning on every light as I'm walking, and I look in the living room at my couch, and I'm like flipping out, like just, I don't know, it was just so surreal. And then I like almost like a child ran back to my room to complete my research. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty of what I found. Alright, so what did I find? Let's start with the psychology phenomenon beliefs. So it's a legitimate phenomenon called the light switch phenomenon within psychology while studying lucid dreaming. Now, again, thankfully, I am a master's in counseling. I have access to a online library and can read all this kind of stuff. So, of course, I sit up for a couple hours, didn't get much sleep, reading this stuff. So, the basic idea is that these are people that are very experienced lucid dreamers, and it happens when these lucid dreamers are having a nightmare, which makes sense because, like I said, I explained some of the emotions I was having and some of the ideas of what was going on, but I didn't want to give details because, I'm just starting to do kind of a story time thing here, and I'm not ready to fully open up about my life. So, yeah, it happens while the lucid dreamer is having nightmares. And in one of the studies, they specifically studied lucid dreamers who also have PTSD, which I do have. So in that study, what they found was that the light switch, what they concluded, I should say, from the experiment and whatnot, which was just the people dreaming and then explaining what happened, was that the light switch, by not being able to turn it on, was telling them that they are in fact in a dream. That the whole process of trying to turn the lights on is them questioning if this nightmare that they are dealing with as a lucid dreamer is reality, or because it's so real, or if it's a dream. If they are able to eventually turn on a light switch throughout the process, or light a candle, or get some other type of form of light, like a flashlight, it usually means they are about to end the dream, that they now have control of the dream and can get out of the nightmare. Which, like I said, my dream last night ended with me saying, fuck this shit, I'm done, and throwing the match, which started a fire. It was a little extreme, but if you knew the emotions and everything else related going on, you would understand why I was like, whatever. So that is pretty much what the psychology world is saying, is that it's just lucid dreamers trying to get out of nightmare situations. And the light switch, because of like light and darkness, they don't have the full control like they're used to having in lucid dreamings until they're able to finally get a light to work, or some type of light format. So that's the psychology one. Now, in dream analysis world, in both the pagan / Wiccan and then the New Age, what I came across was various things. One was about that if you are not able to turn on the light, you are in a world of darkness, and there's a lot of things eating you up, and you are extremely stressed out, and you have no control over the things that are happening in your life currently. And if you are able to turn on a light, you now have the light with you, and you have some control, and goodness is about to come forth for you. That's one of the theories. There's more coming. Another one that I came across numerous times was that you, again, don't have control of your life. That there is a personal situation going on right now that you don't have answers to, and you are not the one making the decisions on that. It could be about a relationship, it could be about court, it could be about all those things. And for me, it's all of the above. and you are very anxious, you are very scared, you really just want some answers, you want to know what's going on. And this one last night was more only about the relationship issue. The one night before was more focused on the car issue with a little bit of the relationship thing. You're kind of being left in the dark. You're not able to turn on the lights because you're being left in the dark. Now, from the research I got, while looking deeper with those type of theories, me being able to light a candle and then deciding to say, fuck this shit, I'm done, was kind of me saying, screw this, you don't have the power over the decisions that are being made. I am not going to just keep waiting. I am not going to just keep, like, doing what it is that you want from this. I'm not going to just be lost in the dark and confused about what is going on and constantly questioning and not being able to have a voice. That's another thing that I constantly kept saying, is that you don't have a voice at all. You're just being completely left in the dark, voiceless, like, just trapped. You're trapped. You're, like, trapped in a situation, which completely makes sense. All of it makes sense. And the fact that I called that person right after is extremely interesting. And when I looked at the clock, it was 2:02. And when I looked up what 2:02 means in the spiritual world, it's basically like you don't fully have your guides, or you haven't been listening to your guides, like, suggestions, basically, so they can't really guide you. So what is happening is you have to look very, very closely at all the little signs that are happening around you, because they're sending you messages. So you need to be really careful and look very closely at details, which all of it is very interesting when you put it all together with my current situations in various elements of my personal life right now. So I hope that these explanations help you guys who have gone through this light switch phenomenon. If you are, just side note, if you are able to turn on the lights, like, right away, basically you may have been in a situation or been trapped, or you are the one that is able to make the decisions, and you are following your path, and you have nothing really getting in the way of your life path and your goals and dreams. So it's like this light versus darkness type thing. Subconsciously, you are fully aware of everything that's going on in your life. You have a good idea of what other people are saying or thinking. Meanwhile, I in a couple of situations, but particularly in the one that this one pertained to, for months, even a year or more, I have had no control. Even if the other person says I do, it's none of the decision making is up to me. I've done everything possible that I can. It's really fully up to them, and I'm kind of at this point where it's like, I don't know what's going on. I have no clue. And so yeah, I really hope that this helped in some way. I know this was kind of a longer video again. It was more of a story time thing as well as educational. If you have more information on this light switch phenomenon, please list it below. So again, to go over a little bit, the main points are, I think the pagan and New Age idea of the dream analysis kind of goes hand in hand with the psychology of lucid dreaming, light switch phenomenon. I highly believe that. There's a lot of overlap with it, because why would a lucid dreamer be having these nightmares where they can't turn on a light? Because there's something in their real life that's trapping them. So it's very interesting to look at, and I really hope this helps other people. It helped me understand a little bit about what I was going through and trying to take my power back. So yeah, that's enough about that. Maybe I will make the empath video tomorrow or sometime this week, because I feel like it's important, especially because in our empath group that we have, that's associated with the channel and my business, along with another model friend that we created, who's also an empath, and which we're having our first like meetup. So I feel like having a good empath video out soon is really important as well. So please like this video, share it, subscribe if you have not yet, press the notification button, check out all my links, check out my magical newsletter. This week's is going to be a little bit on empaths. Again, it was an empath week. And then also check out like my Facebook page, my Instagram, and my Twitter and all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. I love you all so very, very much. Blessed be, and have a great next couple days or week or whenever I see you next. Thank you, and please turn on the light switch. All right.